Hello, everybody. We've got a special treat today with another ministry highlight with KidsHope and our ministry at Larkspur Elementary School. We're going to tell you a little bit about it and how you can get involved, and hope you enjoy and learn a little bit today from our discussion. First off, Kelly, what exactly is KidsHope?
KidsHope is a national program that has been around for, I think, 20 or 25 years. It pairs churches with individual schools in different areas, preferably neighborhood schools. And the church then provides mentors who are paired with individual students that are selected by teachers, by administration, by family specialists. And in the past, we've gone in and spent 1 hour, 1 day a week, which is pretty much the KidsHope mantra. It's 1 hour, 1 child, 1 mentor. And the mentor goes in under normal circumstances and either works with the kid on schoolwork, helping them with schoolwork, or going out on the playground and just spending time, letting that child know that they have a special friend who really cares about them and really loves them. I know in the past, I've gone in and done some scientific demonstrations with my mentees that they have thoroughly loved, and then spent a whole lot of time on the basketball court getting beat and hoarse. So it basically, the structure depends pretty much on the mentor and the mentee and the teacher, because we're there first and foremost to support the teachers and to support the kids.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I remember playing quite a bit of basketball as well, and my mentee schooling me on some horse. We partner with Woodland Partners with Larkspur Elementary School. Can you tell us why we partner with Larkspur?
No, because I have not been involved with KidsHope. This is my 2nd or 3rd year. And really the first full year as the program director. So Jean, do you know how we got partnered with Larkspur?
Yeah, Larkspur is in close proximity to Churchill High School. Within its boundaries, there are numerous apartments. Lots of them have a percentage of their population that are low-income housing. Mm-hmm. There is a development within the Larkspur area that is particularly almost all low income. It's duplexes. There is a transient portion of their population, which is in and out. There are a lot of students that are our own federal lunch program. There is a mix of a lot of single families, parent families, and quite a mix of different ethnic groups within the population of the school. So there are some students who have very limited access to adult figures, and it is something that a connection that is lacking in many of the kids' lives.
Thanks, Jean. Larkspur is a Title I school, and the teachers there, getting to know them over the last roughly 10 or 11 years, are fantastic. Many of the teachers have been there for a very long time, and they love their students. The principal is fairly new, a young guy, and he is very enthusiastic in working with the children there. And it's been real inspiring to see him lead these meetings on Zoom that Kelly and I have been able to be a part of. It's a great place for students to be, where they'll learn from some very caring teachers and administrators.
That's true.
Jean, could you continue for us and tell us a little bit what mentors actually do during their time with a student?
Well, you spend some time just really kind of checking in. How are you doing today? What's going on? That kind of things. You usually work with the students in the library, sometimes out in, they do have an area close to some of the classroom where there are some tables outside to where you can do conferences and things. Before I start working with the students, I talk with the teacher about, what are some concerns, what areas do I need to work with them. I was very fortunate. The first young man I worked with from first grade through sixth grade was a GT student. So he really did not have much academic needs. If they have academic needs and they're not getting reinforcement, all the reinforcement that we do, try to present it and give them options to do things in a different format than what they would do in the classroom. But maybe an extension, ask the teacher, is there any area like in math or science that they're having difficulties, or are they not completing their work? Do they need some time in helping you with that? Most of the times also try to provide some unstructured, a little bit different kind of thing. I've played card games with kids. We've done games, we've done building artwork, kind of depending on what their needs and interests are. But basically talking about things. The first little boy I worked with was home alone. Most of the time he was in elementary school. And particularly during summertime. So books were something that we usually, I would share with him. He would have something to do while he was home. When he was in the third or fourth grade, he wrote this poem for me. She closes her eyes to sleep. She lays down all day. She only moves when you bother her. But when she hears walk, pizza, ride, ribs, or treat, her head comes up, she gets up and wags her tails, and she gets excited. You wouldn't think that this is the same dog. And this was something that he shared with me. He did not like to write with a pen. So I got permission for him to write on an iPad, which he liked. And when he would do having all of his work complete and everything, I had a few games on there that he could play with. And so this was another thing that we did together. The last meeting I had with him, I told him, I said, this is going to be the last time I'm going to see you. I wish you well when you go to middle school. You're not going to Eisenhower with me? Was his last comment. Oh. So it is an opportunity to give a positive adult influence to a child that may not have it as much as they need it.
Wow, yeah. Those are special times with our mentees. They really are. Cameron has a unique position with Pastors for Texas Children. And so I've asked her to tell us a little bit about why it's important to support public schools like Larkspur.
Yeah, thanks for having me on this, Lance. So public schools are the hub of a community, kind of like churches are, I think, in a lot of ways. Kids depend on their schools for so much more than just learning to read and write. As we've heard from Jean and Kelly, just beautiful stories about the incarnational presence that adults are to children and the needs that are met there by the schools. And it's more than even just that. A lot of kids, may not have enough food at home. They're food insecure and they rely on going to school to get fed. And teachers are asked to do so much more than just teach. They're asked to be counselors and social workers and nurses. And so programs like this that we're doing at Larkspur are so wonderful because we can come alongside the teacher and really love on and support those kids and show them God's love in a way that's completely appropriate, constitutionally appropriate, and not evangelizing them, but showing them through our actions and through our deeds how much God loves them. I think the pandemic has really compounded all of those ways that the public school has provided for kids. So some of you that don't have school-age kids may not know that the public schools fed anybody that needed it. Any child under the age of 18 could come to the public schools during the pandemic, especially during the spring, and then it continued in various forms over the summer, and pick up a meal, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. And they, it didn't matter if they were enrolled in their school or if they went to a private school or were homeschooled. The public schools were feeding everybody. And so they really are a place that supports the whole child and the whole community. And, churches should celebrate that because that's kind of the same mission that we have, right? So the other thing is that public schools educate all children, every child that walks through the door. And that's something that makes public schools really special and unique. And Pastors for Texas Children really celebrates that. And one of the ways that we do that is by encouraging our churches that are involved in PTC to be involved in ministries like KidsHope. And sorry, we've got some noise in the background. We encourage churches to get involved in school assistance ministries like KidsHope so that they can really see all these things and all the ways that you've described, kids being taught and loved and nurtured in the schools. And what happens so often is that once volunteers and pastors and people of faith are in the building, they see a lot of need. And they see the way that the teachers are stretched really thin with oversized classrooms with too many kids in them that they can't necessarily give proper attention one-on-one to each kid. And that will lead them maybe to a next level of ministry, which is advocacy for public schools. And that's something that the faith community has really gotten involved in recently over the last decade or so. And it has made a big difference in our schools in Texas. And so that's been really exciting to see people of faith standing up for kids in that way. And I will remind you that voting is happening soon. And even in at the very local level, the school board level is on the ballot, all the way up. Every position on the ballot has something to do with public education. And so I encourage you to take that into account when you vote, starting on October 13th.
Thanks, Cameron. You mentioned as we get into the classrooms and in schools that we can see other needs besides just the mentoring of individual students. This question is for all of us. What else can we do to support Larkspur?
Lance, I think particularly this year, if we can discuss some ways with them to support their teachers, because they're dealing with a lot of new things this year, a lot of anxieties for them, their families, and the kids and the families that they represent. And I think that if we can do some things for them, that would be meaningful to them.
That's great. We've tried to do a little bit of that in the past around Christmas time when we pass out books. We also make it a point to do something for the teachers. In the past, we've given them a Christmas card with a $5 gift card to Starbucks in it, just to say thank you for teaching and serving kids. But yeah, there's many more ways we can do that as well. And that's a great discussion we'll be having over the next coming weeks and months of how we can do that. Great idea, Gene. Thank you so much. Anybody else have any ideas of ways we can support Larkspur?
Well, Ana de la Tejeda, the family specialist, texted me that She is particularly interested in getting our support with Snack Pack and Elf Louise. And apparently the one or both are programs where kids are referred to that particular program, and she wants our assistance as mentors with that referral process. I think we can be very valuable to that referral process. And I have a feeling that there are some other ways with these two particular programs that we can pursue. And I will be discussing that with her.
In the past, we have also had mentors that have brought students to our Christmas workshop for children. It's going to be a little different this year, but we may be able to work out some ways to also continue to incorporate some of their student body in that activity.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Jean. Cameron, I think you know what Snack Pack is, right?
Yeah, sorry, just to answer your question, Kelly, Snack Pack is a weekend feeding program. And so volunteers get together and put plastic grocery bags together of non-perishable items for kids to eat on the weekend. And I think once a month they even get like a jar of peanut butter. And it's pretty substantial food. So I know a lot of kids really rely on those weekend meals from Snack Pack. Every Friday they distribute that. And that's another kind of church assistance, church run school assistance ministry, like KidsHope.
All right, Kelly, as we're wrapping up here, if someone wants to be involved as a KidsHope mentor, what do they need to do?
Yeah, if anyone is interested in becoming a mentor, all they have to do is let me know. And then I will submit their information to KidsHope. And there is also a volunteer form that they need to complete for Northeast ISD, who will then issue them a volunteer number. And then we pass that information on to Larkspur, to the campus. And that pretty much gets us going.
Is there an application they need to fill out, Kelly?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And I fill out an application. It's actually a very simple application to forward to KidsHope. And then KidsHope turns around and will send training materials or information about training to the new mentor.
Can you tell us a little bit before we finish up here about the prayer partners?
Yes, KidsHope requests that each mentor have an individual prayer partner who will provide an extra avenue or an extra source of prayer for the mentor and especially for the child, for the mentee. I know my prayer partner is one of my best buds. He and I have a long history of working with kids through the Royal Ambassadors because both of our sons came up through the RAs. Both of our sons were also a lot of trouble in RAs. So it was an interesting growing time for all of us. But the prayer partner is there to provide prayer support. And this is a two-way communication between mentor and prayer partner, particularly with mentor asking the prayer partner to pray for specific concerns and needs for their mentee.
Yes, I've had prayer partners that served with me that would participate and be a prayer for my student.
That's great.
And if they want to be a mentor, they just let somebody know that they want to be a mentor.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be through the church office.
Well, thank you all very much for joining today to tell a little bit, share a little the story of KidsHope to Woodland, the Woodland family and community, and how they can get involved, how they can pray for KidsHope and for Larkspur. Thanks again very much.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lane.
Thank
And
you.
Jean and Cameron.